Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, it is KingNido here, and today we're coming here from Pastoria City where the water type Cascades are trying to get themselves into a leader's 8 position, but to do so they have to defeat the flying type 4 Tree Tempest, who are trying to get themselves back into the Elite 4, which they've only just dropped out of. So let us know in the comments below who you think will win. Do you think it'll be the flying types, or do you think the water types will reign supreme? Let's send it down! Now, the 4 Tree Tempests have actually been having a great season, and they're starting out today with Decidueye, the terrestrial Pokemon for their side, and Kilowattrel. It'll be Dondozo and Clawitzer starting out for the Pastoria Cascade, but as I said, Decidueye is the terrestrial Pokemon for the 4 Tree Tempest, so immediately it's going to shed that grass fighting typing and become a flying type Pokemon. It will still get the stab boost of its original types, as well as the flying type on top of that, though. And immediately, Kilowattrel with the speed advantage sets up a substitute, so it's going to cut into its own health and put that substitute in its place. It may be hard to see on the field right now, but it is there, I can assure you. And we get the strength from Decidueye onto Clawitzer. They have the speed advantage on the field, but that poison gas is performed by Clawitzer. This is going to leave Decidueye taking that poison damage. Thankfully for Kilowattrel, it has that substitute in place, as Dondozo goes for the focus blast, but Kilowattrel is able to avoid that attack. Or is it the substitute that avoided that attack? Regardless, Decidueye taking the damage from its poisoning, as the heat wave is set up and performed by Kilowattrel, which is not very effective on either water type Pokemon. They do resist fire type moves. It is followed up though by the poison tail from Decidueye on Clawitzer. Gets a good hit there, and Clawitzer is going to respond with the rock smash. This won't be very effective on the flying type Decidueye. Dondozo looks to follow it up though with the frost breath. This will be super effective, and that is a great hit there from the water type onto Decidueye, as it gets the critical hit in the process, and that poisoning is doing extra damage. Decidueye is an easy target right now, as Kilowattrel sets up an Aqua Ring, and this is really smart because it still has that substitute in place, so it is going to be having its health restored in between turns. Decidueye now with the Lunar Dance, seeing the end in sight, it is going to take itself out of this matchup very early on. That is a risky play, but that could actually pay off if they are able to capitalize on that Lunar Dance later on, as the Lick now being performed onto Kilowattrel's substitute, taking the damage, but it looks like it is still going to stay in place. Dondozo looks to take it out, but goes for the Baton Pass instead, so it is going to go back to the bench. Now out in its place comes Floatzel, as Kilowattrel is going to have its health restored now from that Aqua Ring that it's set up. And out comes the pseudo legendary Salamence with that Intimidate ability, immediately lowering the attack stat of both Clawitzer and Floatzel. And now the Giga Impact coming from Kilowattrel, going for Clawitzer, and Clawitzer is eliminated with that move. We will be seeing Dondozo coming back out onto this field very soon. It did not get much of a break, but Floatzel, looking to respond, sets up a wish. We'll see if that wish is able to come true and have its health restored and win the match. But first, Salamence sets up a wrap onto Floatzel. It does a little bit of damage now, but it is going to continue doing passive damage in between turns, as we will see shortly. But first, that Veil of Water does restore the health of Kilowattrel, and there is Floatzel taking that wrap damage, and Dondozo now coming back out onto the field for the Pastoria Cascade, as Kilowattrel has to recharge after that Giga Impact. This opens the door for a Lunar Blessing from Floatzel. It is going to restore its health. It could actually get back to full strength here, and that it does, but it's also going to help out Dondozo and get it back to full strength, as Salamence with the Spite here. Unfortunately, it fails, though. This opens the door for Dondozo to go for a Roost, but it's already at full strength, so that is going to have no effect. And there's Kilowattrel almost getting itself back to full strength with this Veil of Water, as the substitute is still on the field. It might actually be back to full strength before that substitute is taken out, but first it goes for a Horn Leech. This is going to be super effective onto Floatzel. Takes massive damage, does Floatzel, and this will get Kilowattrel back to full strength because it does have its health restored in performing the Horn Leech. Floatzel looking to respond now, goes with the Grassy Glide, and that is not very effective on Kilowattrel. And the substitute is the one that takes the damage anyway. It's still on the field, and Salamence throws a present towards Floatzel. And unfortunately for the 4 Tree Tempest, that is going to restore the health of the water type Pokemon, as Dondozo with the Flatter. Unfortunately, it does fail though, and there is that wrap doing damage to Floatzel. Salamence must be spewing. That Floatzel did have its health restored, and there's that quick attack onto Dondozo from Kilowattrel. They are not trying to get rid of Floatzel now, even though it is so close to being eliminated. Floatzel with the knockoff onto Kilowattrel, The substitute yet again taking damage. I can't believe it's still out here, but it is finally faded, and Killer Watchel is back on the field. Salamence with the Leaf Blade though eliminates Floatzel with that super effective move, making sure that it was going to do enough damage this time. And Dondozo going for the Calm Mind. It is going to boost its special stats here, both that special attack and special defense, but keep in mind it is much more of a physical Pokemon. And out comes Raichu in its Alolan form. It's the Terrestrial Pokemon for the Pastoria Cascade, similar to what we saw with Decidueye. It is going to change its type and it will maintain the stab boost of its original types, but it is now a water type surfing Raichu, surfing on that tail. It's fantastic to see. It takes a brilliant form, but now Killer Watchel is going to immediately go for the Ice Shard onto Raichu, which is now not very effective due to it being a water type. Raichu responds with an Ice Shard of its own, and on the Salamence as well, taking quad damage. Huge hit. Salamence is going to respond by setting up a bounce. It's going to spring up high into the sky as Dondozo, watch it as it goes up, goes with the Torch Song onto Killer Watchel, gets a great hit there. Remember, it just had that special attack boost, and it gets another one as well, as Killer Watchel is still having its health restored by that Veil of Water, and it now goes with the Echoed Voice responding to Dondozo, but Dondozo tanks that hit. Raichu with the Flying Press onto Killer Watchel, not very effective, does very little damage, and Salamence coming down with that bounce, but Raichu is able to get out of the way and avoid that attack. This opens the door for Dondozo to go for the last respects, and Salamence is eliminated. The pseudo legendary is taken out of this matchup in impressive fashion by the water types. Killer Watchel continuing to restore health as out comes Honchkrow now for the 4-Tree Tempest. And we get the Simple Beam now being performed onto Raichu from Killer Watchel. This is going to change that Surge Surfer ability into the Simple ability, so its stats can go higher and lower, more so than usual, as Raichu responds with the Mountain Gale. This will be super effective, but Honchkrow is able to get out of the way and goes with the Shadow Claw in response, going for Dondozo. Gets that critical hit as well, as Dondozo does respond with the Mega Punch, and there's a great hit there onto the Dark Flying type. As Killer Watchel still having its health restored. Now keep in mind, Dondozo and Killer Watchel have been in this matchup since the very beginning, and the Swords Dance being performed by Killer Watchel, boosting that attack a great deal. It's only got a base 70 attack, however, as Raichu responds with the Hex, going for Honchkrow, which is not very effective on the part Dark type. Honchkrow looks to respond with the Swagger, going for Dondozo. Now, this is going to leave Dondozo confused, which is great, but Dondozo has just had its attack stat heavily boosted, and it is there with that 100 base attack as well, so they do not want it to be able to land a physical hit, as it does damage to itself, and that is exactly what the 4-Tree Tempest want. As Killer Watchel is still having its health restored, it might get back to full strength again, but before that can happen, it is going to go for the Twister, hitting both Dondozo and Raichu, as Raichu is going to respond with the Infernal Parade onto Killer Watchel. A critical hit, fantastic damage being done there. Now we get Honchkrow with the Outrage onto Raichu, and Raichu is eliminated. Massive damage done by a Honchkrow there to put the 4-Tree Tempest back in front, and out goes the Terrestrial Pokemon. Dondozo has snapped out of its confusion, which is great for the Cascade, as Dondozo is going to go with the Drill Peck, and Honchkrow is eliminated. Remember, Dondozo has that boosted attack as well, and still Killer Watchel and Dondozo have been in since the start of this matchup. Killer Watchel having its health restored yet again, and I've got to think that Veil of Water has kept in this matchup so much longer. Samurott comes out for the Pastoria Cascade, and Braviary comes out for the 4-Tree Tempest, and we get the Gust now being performed onto Dondozo from Killer Watchel. Braviary looking to follow it up, goes with the Hypnosis, but Dondozo is able to get out of the way of that attack and keep itself awake, as Samurott goes with the Sucker Punch, but unfortunately this is going to fail for the Unovian Samurott. Dondozo is now going with that Double Edge onto Braviary, and Braviary holds on, but Dondozo is hit by recoil damage, and it is eliminated, but it did huge damage before taking itself out of this matchup, as Killer Watchel continuing to have its health restored, but the 4-Tree Tempest have just taken the lead, and out comes Greninja for the Pastoria Cascade in this back and forth matchup. We'll get the Roar of Time now from Killer Watchel onto Samurott. Huge hit, but Greninja is going to respond with the Disarming Voice, with that Protean ability as well. It is going to transform into a Fairy type, and it goes for both Killer Watchel and eliminates Braviary in the process, hitting both flying types, leveling the playing field. But now we get the Seismic Toss from Samurott. It eliminates Killer Watchel, and just like that, the Pastoria Cascade have taken the lead. The 4-Tree Tempest are down to their last Pokemon, and it is Flamigo coming down in the field as the Fairy type Greninja goes for the Lunar Dance. This is going to fail. It would have eliminated itself. The Pastoria Cascade must be grateful, but Flamigo with the Mega Horn onto Greninja. Not very effective because it is a fairy type now. And we get the Terra Blast being performed by Samurai onto Flamigo. Great connection. It gets the critical hit. Greninja could follow it up here. It goes with the Milk Drink, so it's going to restore its health. And it should get itself back to full strength. That it does, but Flamigo could actually capitalize here and get an elimination. Goes for the Horn Attack onto Greninja. Great hit, but it's not going to do much. And Samurai with the Lava Plume hits everybody on the field. Flamigo holds on. Greninja follows it up. Easy target though, but it goes with the Reflect type, so it's now a Fighting Flying type, same as Flamigo. Flamigo is going to respond with the Speed Swap, so it's now going to be the quickest Pokemon on the field because it swapped speeds with Greninja, but it didn't go for the elimination. This opens the door for Samurai to go for the Leech Life, and Flamigo is eliminated. The Pastoury Cascade have won this matchup, and it was back and forth. This was anybody's game, but the Water types are able to take the victory. And that is fantastic because they had lost their last 2 games. They really, really needed this win. And next round, they will be going up against the Saffron Powerlinks. But they've also moved themselves up into 11th place in a Leaders 8 position. Whereas the Flying types stay in 6th place now. And next round, they will be taking on the Delta team that is the Holon Heroes. Until then, though, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. If you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe. But more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.